Ya, ada lagi nak masuk. Okay, I can share slide untuk our lesson for today. Okay, this is our chapter 7. Okay, so actually last week I have recorded a video regarding the what we call as the organizational information, more toward the how we actually exploring the business intelligence, okay, through what we so call as some so called as the uh, management information system, okay, and last week kita juga ada masuk kepada some of the information security, okay, and the rest which we so called as yang kita tengok lebih kepada the rules and responsibility, okay, yang kita dah go through all the strategic initiative, okay, and as for today kita akan masuk kepada more towards how actually we store this particular information, okay. So this topic, okay, is a bit technical because you will get to know, okay, about all the IT terms, okay. We are actually covering, okay, this particular database topic and data warehouse topic, okay. So under this particular this first chapter, okay, we are going to get to know, okay, the definition of this particular database, okay, and the next half kita akan masuk kepada data warehouse, okay. So under this particular topic kita akan cover what we so called as the concept of the database, okay. Kita akan evaluate the advantages of the relational database model, okay, the integrity constraint, and also some of the benefit of the data driven website, and two primary method for integrating information across multiple databases, okay. We will get to know right after this. Okay, so what is actually database? Okay, kita selalu dengar database, okay. So database actually where we store our information, okay. So it's the place where we store our information, okay, because usually this particular information that we receive from our customers, okay, from our client, okay, manually we put on file, okay, but under this particular IT, okay, we store this particular information inside the database, okay. So we have numbers of database model, okay. So the first one is hierarchical, okay. So this hierarchical database model information is organized into three like structure using parent and child relationship in such way it cannot have too many relationship, okay. So this is what we so called as hierarchical, okay. Kita ada what we so called as information that being relate, okay, to the rest of the party, but it's a bit limited. Dia lebih kepada tree diagram, okay. And this one, network database model, okay, is a flexible way of representing object and their relationship. Okay, kalau tengok dekat sini, for the network ni, okay, it's more toward connection. Okay, how actually it connected between one another. Okay, compared tadi yang hierarchical, dia lebih kepada tree. Okay, tree dan dia hanya akan being sub, okay, from dia punya primary. Okay, kalau network dia connected, okay, dia ada interconnection, okay. And last one, kita ada relational database model which actually store information in the form of logically related two dimensional tables, okay. We have this particular two tables, okay, but it has actually relationship between each other, okay. So contoh macam between sales department dengan purchasing department, okay. Itu adalah what we so called as relational database table, okay, which first we have this particular sales database. The second one we have purchase database, and it actually relate, okay, interconnected between each other. Yang this one, okay, ni lebih kepada the dalam model itself, the internal, tapi this one between database, okay. And what we have here, there is some of the what we so called as terms, okay, that you need to know under this particular database. Macam yang I mentioned last lecture, okay, this particular database, okay, it's more towards what we so called as lebih kepada we apply dalam Microsoft Access. Okay, dia kena ada query, okay, yang mana kita tak akan what we so called key in that particular information twice, okay, because it being stored dalam satu database. Okay, so first thing first yang kita kena tahu adalah entity. Okay, what is actually entity? Entity is a person, place, thing or transaction or event of which information is stored. Okay, so kalau misalnya you tengok dekat figure 7.1 ni, okay, where is actually the entity? Entity ni adalah yang what we so called as a header of each this particular table. Okay, ini semua adalah table yang kita akan linkkan nanti. Okay, macam yang I tunjuk tadi diagram, sebenarnya dia adalah interlink between each other. Okay, so yang dinamakan entity adalah yang this one, customer, order, order line, distributor, product. This one all is what we so called as an entity. Okay. Okay, and next one, kalau you tengok dekat sini, kita ada attributes. Okay, so attributes adalah fields ataupun column, sama ada dia adalah satu column ataupun banyak column. Okay, so characteristics of or properties of an entity classes. Okay, entity class. So dekat sini the column in each table contains the attributes. So dekat sini apa maksud attributes? Yang mana yang kita panggil column ni? Semua column ni adalah attribute. Okay, customer ID, customer name, contact name, phone, okay, distributor ID, quantity, all column ni kita panggil what we so call as attribute. Okay, yang mana tadi kita ulang balik, entity adalah yang bunyi tajuk atas ni, customer, order, order line. Okay, yang column ni, this one we so call as an attribute. Okay, and we also have primary key and foreign key. Okay, what is primary key? Bila sebab nama dia primary, okay, what is primary? The main one. Okay, yang paling utama. Okay, sekejap, I invite you punya kawan yang lambat. Okay, lagi tak ada nak masuk. Okay, so kita sambung balik. So kalau tengok dekat sini kita ada dua jenis key. Okay, the first key is what we so called as the primary key. Okay, and the second one is foreign key. Okay, so what is actually different between primary dengan foreign key ni? Okay, primary key is a field or a group of it that uniquely identify a given in a table. Okay, so it show that okay, this particular primary key, okay, kalau based on database tadi, okay, 7.1 ni, okay, kalau you tengok what is actually primary key? Primary key ni adalah yang kita panggil, kalau ini adalah entity dia customer, okay, primary key adalah yang mana yang menunjukkan that particular column belong to the customer. Okay, so contoh customer ID, okay, customer name, okay. So this one kita panggil what we so call as this particular primary key. Okay, kenapa nama dia key? Because bila you nak key in ataupun searching, okay, key in your search, okay, you're searching what we so call as keyword, okay, you have to type, okay, this particular customer ID, okay, ataupun customer name, barulah akan keluar all the details. Okay, So sama juga macam order. Okay, so kalau untuk order yang paling unik dekat sini adalah order ID. Okay, because this particular ID dia tak akan share dengan the others. Okay, so itu adalah what we so call as primary key for this particular table. Okay, so macam mana pula yang dipanggil dengan foreign key tadi? Okay, so foreign key is primary key of one table that appears an attribute in another table and act to provide a logical relationship among the two tables. Okay, so foreign key ni dia akan share, maksudnya dia boleh appear dekat any table. Okay, so primary key dia identify the table, foreign key dia akan appear in multiple table. Okay, contoh kalau macam dekat sini, apa yang kita boleh tunjuk dia adalah foreign key. Okay, so kalau kita tengok dekat sini, okay, foreign key kebanyakannya adalah yang mana yang dia akan share. Okay, kalau misalnya distributor ID, okay, distributor ID, ini kita boleh cakap dia lebih kepada foreign key because dia share table. Okay, tapi distributor name it belong to this particular distributor table. This one should be what we so call as the primary key. Maksudnya dia tak akan share dengan the other table. Okay, dia akan menunjukkan this is belong to distributor table. Okay, this what we have under primary key dengan foreign key. Yang mana foreign key ni dia akan share dengan multiple table. Okay, order ID, okay, product ID. This one is all what we so call as foreign key. Okay, so primary key yang menunjukkan this particular what actually unique for this particular table. Okay, so rasanya you boleh faham entity tadi adalah tajuk atas dia ataupun header, biasanya dekat dalam bentuk row lah, yang atas sekali. Attribute semua yang column. Kita semestinya ada satu. Dia sometimes dia ada numbers of fields ataupun kita panggil numbers of columns. Okay, and primary key pula dia lebih kepada what we so call as the one that identify the unique of that particular table, and foreign key dia share. Okay, can be appear in multiple table. Okay, and what is the advantage from business perspective? Okay, so kalau tengok dekat sini, compared to the manual practice, okay, this particular database, okay, first what is database? That actually the place where you store information. Okay, so bila you store information, you simpan you punya all the information, okay, inside this particular database, it actually increase flexibility. Okay, in term of what? A well-designed database should handle changes quickly and easily. Okay, you boleh ubah bila-bila masa. Okay, contohlah tersilap tulis alamat ataupun orang pindah alamat. Okay, contohnya macam the case of bank. Okay, kenapa bank kena guna database? Sebab bila orang pindah alamat, dia nak hantar what we so call as account statement, okay, bank statement, okay, every month. Okay, so dekat sini bila nak ubah alamat tu senang. Okay, just through the system. Okay, provide user with different views. Okay, so dekat sini siapa user dia kebanyakannya adalah the one who actually own the database lah. Okay, contohlah kalau misalnya view for this particular the officers punya, okay, officer punya view, dia akan nampak segala detail of the customers. Okay, so dia tak perlu multiple key in the name of the customer. Maksudnya first dia hanya daftarkan, okay, next dia hanya akan update the transaction saja. Okay, kita ambil contoh macam online business, okay, Shopee, Lazada, okay, you have register, so itu semua masuk dalam database, you punya name. So next time you just sign in, you tak perlu lagi nak isi all the details. Okay, you hanya terus buat transaction. That is what we so call as the flexibility, okay, under database, okay, and benefit under database. Okay, have only one physical view. Okay, so dekat sini kita ada what we so call as physical view, actually deal with the physical storage of information on storage device. Okay, so kalau tengok dekat sini kita boleh tengok, okay, view the table, okey, apa sahaja maklumat yang kita dah simpan dekat dalam this particular database. Okay, and multiple logical views. Okay, so kita boleh tengok as a whole and juga boleh tengok ikut kita punya preference. Itu kita panggil logical views. Okay, what is logical views? Contoh macam yang the case of tadi tu. Okay, this one. Okay, so bila you key in, contoh you key in customer ID. Okay, you boleh key in customer ID, you boleh tahu apa sahaja yang this particular customer ada buat order. So this is numbers of what we so call as order, okay, from the customer. So dekat sini kita tahu dah, kita tak nak tengok semua sekali. Okay, kita hanya ambil what we so call as apa yang we prefer to see, okay, or we wish to appear. That is what we have under this particular database. Okay, itu kita panggil logical views. Logical views based on the preference, yang mana dia boleh dikaitkan. Okay, it can relate to. Okay, and next one, increase scalability and performance. Okay, what is scalability and performance? Okay, database must scale to meet increased demand while maintaining acceptable performance level. Okay, apa maksud this particular performance level? Dia punya prestasi itu dikira daripada segi scalability. Okay, mean how well a system can adapt to increased demand. Okay, sampai boleh berapa banyak this particular database kita boleh storekan information. Okay, sebab tu kita tengok database yang lagi besar, okay, lagi mahal harga dia. Biasanya database ni kita sewa lah. Okay, and some of the database ada juga yang free. Contoh database yang free yang banyak dekat internet lah. Okay, so kalau misalnya untuk daripada segi akademik, okay, you boleh tengok dekat library ada banyak database. Dalam database tu ada storekan banyak journal. Itu is also some of the example of the database, tapi kita kena subscribe lah. Maknanya kita kena bayar fees secara tahunan. Okay, and we also will seek this particular database through its performance. Okay, measure how quickly a system perform a certain process or transaction. Okay, contoh how quick. Okay, maksudnya berapa cepat this particular system boleh perform. They react towards the query. Biasa kita akan ada key in the query lah. Okay, contoh lah, kalau misalnya lu guna database ni untuk student portal. Student portal is type of database. Okay, so dia adalah example of database where you hanya, contohlah you nak tengok what we so called as exam slip. Okay, exam slip ataupun you tengok ni lah you punya result. Okay, so you hanya just pergi kat tab result, keluar result. Okay, dia tak akan keluar apa yang you what we so called not wish to appear. Contoh dia tak akan keluar sekali dengan yuran, tak akan, dia ikut apa yang you prefer to be appeared. Okay, this what we have, and how quickly dia boleh tunjukkan result tu dekat you. Okay, so this what we so call as how they measure under the performance. Okay, through the speed. Okay, the speed of the system. Okay, reduce information redundancy. Okay, so database will reduce information redundancy, the duplication of information or storing the same information in multiple places. Okay, contohlah kalau you tengok dekat dalam student portal, okay, you hanya key in masa you pertama kali daftar as a student. Okay, so nama you dah ada dekat situ. So every semester you nak register new subject, you tak perlu nak type you punya nama. Okay, sebab nama tu dah memang ada dekat dalam database. Okay, so you just key in semester berapa yang you nak add the subject. Okay, drop the subject. Itu sahaja you key in. Sebab dekat sini untuk avoid redundancy. Semua tak ada lagi yang kita panggil ada banyak maklumat, okay, ataupun information yang bertindan. Okay, so redundancy ni can be reduced by using this particular database. Maksudnya dia akan memudahkan lagi lah you punya kerja. Tak perlulah setiap kali nak every new semester you nak register new subject, you type nama you tak. Okay, you just sometimes you just key in your student ID, dia terus appear all you punya maklumat and apa yang you kena add the subject. Okay, so inconsistency of the primary problem with redundant information. Sebab apa? Redundant biasanya akan lead toward inconsistencies. Okay, biasanya inconsistencies ni dia banyak kepada error lah. Okay, contoh in term of bila you tertinggal satu nama, satu huruf, okay, from your names. Okay, maksudnya kalau nama you Zubaidah, you tertinggal huruf I jadi Zubadah. So dia akan jadi what we so call as the different row, okay, so, ataupun what we so call as error under information. Okay, and next one, increase information integrity. Okay, the quality of the information. Okay, so information integrity measure the quality of information. Okay, means that particular information is valid. Okay, what we have the next one is integrity constraint, rule that help to ensure the quality of information. Okay, which kita ada dua jenis, iaitu relational integrity constraint dengan business critical integrity constraint. Okay, so what is actually these two parts? Okay, so under this particular constraint, okay, mean who actually control the information. Okay, contoh that particular information provided by the customer. Okay, so bila this particular being provided by the customer, kita perlukan customer contoh untuk update. Okay, untuk update this particular change of address. Okay, change of what we so called as some of the account numbers. Okay, so dekat sini, okay, bila the details is from the customer, okay, so itu lebih kepada relational integrity. Maksudnya kita lebih rely on this particular customer. Okay, and business critical integrity ni pula, okay, dia lebih kepada what we so call as business side. Okay, lebih kepada perniagaan sendiri. Contoh misalnya with our suppliers, okay, in term of harga, okay, sebab contoh kalau yang berkaitan dengan mall, perniagaan shopping mall, okay, so kalau misalnya dia lebih kepada what we so call as rely with this particular vegetable products, okay, fruit products, okay, some of dia punya harga tu cepat berubah. Okay, so you rely with this particular from vendor and from the supplier itself, okay, untuk dapatkan maklumat yang terbaru. Okay, so that one is more toward the business critical integrity constraint. Sebab yang dimasukkan dekat sini, okay, when it come to quality of information, information itu sentiasa tepat. Okay, tapi dekat sini apa constraint yang kita ada, maksudnya daripada segi relational, okay, more toward with our customer, because we are not the one that control, okay, customer is uncontrollable. Okay, maksudnya dia boleh update all the info bila-bila masa. Okay, so ikut masa dia lah. Okay, and business critical ni pula based on our business. Okay, and next one, kalau kita tengok dekat sini, okay, what is the next advantage from business perspective for this particular database? Dia akan increase information security. Okay, so information is an organization asset and must be protected. Okay, ada banyak info. Okay, info on our customer, info on our vendor, info of our sales. Okay, so database offers several security features, including password. Sebelum ni kalau manual kita masuk dalam file physically. Okay, anybody can access that particular information. Tapi bila kita database, kita boleh set a password. Okay, contoh misalnya kalau kita ada register Lazada atau Shopee, I mention tadi. Okay, bila kita register, dia akan suruh kita buat kita punya password. So that particular personal particulars, okay, orang tak boleh access kecuali kita provide the password, okay, because it actually authenticate, okay, authentication of the users. Maksudnya nak supaya this particular keselamatan users, okay, database they offer security under password lah. Maksudnya you have to provide password, okay, sebelum you being authenticated to access the database. Okay, access level determine who has access to the different type of information. So dekat sini different people dia ada different access. Okay, contoh macam untuk student portal sendiri dekat universiti. Okay, contoh yang boleh akses untuk semua sistem, okay, sampailah ke tahap nak ubah subjek, okay, nak what we so call as drop the subject, nak bagi pelepasan validation semua sekali. Yang paling top adalah kita tengok bahagian pentadbiran akademik lah. Maksudnya daripada segi dia punya assistant registrar, okay, penolong pendaftar ataupun dia punya executive officers. Okay, contoh kalau misalnya pensyarah dia punya access level, macam saya hanya boleh akses untuk you punya kelas dengan kelas yang saya ajar je. Okay, tapi lecturer lain, okay, dia ada juga untuk kelas yang dia ajar. Saya tak boleh nak akses apa group yang dia ajar. Okay, yang boleh akses semua adalah contoh level koordinator fakulti, okay, ketua pusat pengajian, okay, dan juga yang saya mention tadi pentadbiran akademik, okay, assistant registrar ataupun penolong pendaftar. Okay, access control determine type of user access such as read only access. Contoh dekat sini you tak boleh ubah apa-apa. Okay, maksudnya you hanya boleh view saja, you hanya boleh read saja. Okay, so this is some of the access control. Dia ada bagi type of user yang boleh ubah, okay, yang boleh view sahaja. So this is what we have under the security. Okay, one of the advantages under database. Okay, so what we have here, okay, database management system. How actually we manage, okay, this particular database. Okay, software through which user and application program interact with a database. Okay, so kalau kita dekat sini, how actually database dia akan create a system, okay, between indirect dengan direct interaction ni. Okay, so kalau tengok dekat sini, okay, indirect interaction, okay, we have numbers of program yang kita akan store dalam database. Okay, maksudnya if user use accounting program, this particular accounting program dia akan what we so call as stored, okay, in this particular database. Okay, kalau kita tengok dekat sini, okay, marketing, manufacturing, they have their own programs. Okay, we actually access the database through the program itself. Okay, ada lagi yang masuk. Okay, and kalau tengok dekat sini untuk direct pula, okay, direct information, okay, so dia punya interaction tu terus ke database. Okay, so right here you are actually gain the information or access the information straight from the database. Okay, and this one you actually extract based from the program itself. Okay, ini yang kita panggil indirect interaction. Okay, contoh macam student portal. Student portal yang you tengok tu, contohlah, okay, kita ada database UiTM. Okay, database UiTM, kita akan ada banyak what we so call as programs. Okay, student portals, okay, libraries. Ini semua adalah lebih kepada indirect interaction. Mana you akan go dekat dalam the student portals. You tak akan terus go straight to database. Okay, and direct interaction, if you have access straight away toward di database. You boleh pergi semua sekali dekat sini. Okay, semua sekali what we so called as the information you boleh access through the database, okay, which actually being stored dalam database. Okay, this what we have under these two interaction. Okay, so usually untuk lagi specified user dia akan go for this particular thing. Maksudnya you just go for student lah. I staff, I go for the staff portal. You go for the student portal. Okay, but the administrator dia boleh access the whole, okay, the whole database. Okay, sebab tu dekat sini kata obtain information from database. Yang ini semua adalah based on the application itself. Okay, and data driven website. Okay, kita tengok ada banyak data driven website. Okay, sebenarnya most of the website memang dia akan link terus dengan database. Okay, so an interactive website keep constantly update and relevant to the needs of a customer through the use of database. So dekat sini all the changes, information changes kita terus store dekat dalam database. Okay, supaya this particular website keep updated. Contoh misalnya macam website, kita ambil lah yang online shopping tadi, okay, Lazada. Okay, dia punya harga, kalau dia bagi diskaun, okay, so automatic dekat dalam database dia akan terus update, okay, update the information changes, okay, in term of this particular the price. Okay, data driven website are especially useful when the site offer a great deal of information, product or service. That's why most of this particular websites, okay, ataupun business websites, dia akan look this particular function, okay, sebab dia offer great deal, okay, campaign, promotion, okay, they must have or be quick, okay, to update, okay, their website. Okay, website visitors are frequently engaged if they are buried under an avalanche information when searching a website. Maksudnya kita sebagai pengguna ni, okay, tak suka kalau misalnya lambat update. Okay, paling simple senang website berita lah. Okay, website berita, takkan kita nak tengok berita yang dah seminggu lepas. Okay, so we actually love to see yang paling cepat update. Okay, so biasanya kita akan tengok portal mana yang cepat update this kind of berita. Itu yang kita akan mudah percaya. Okay, so data driven website invite visitors cuma dekat this particular portal berita ni sekarang ni dah banyak this kind of filtering lah. Maksudnya berita palsu, berita what we so call as yang berita benar. Okay, so dekat sini we have to filter. Okay, cuma in term of readers, dia akan tengok yang mana yang the most updated one. Okay, and kalau tengok dekat sini, ya, macam yang I dah mention, bila masuk kepada database ni dia akan banyak search query. What is search query? You punya keyword lah, you nak key in apa. Okay, so kalau tengok dekat sini, okay, when you search, biasanya kita search, kita akan guna dekat Google, okay, and also dekat website ni sendiri, kita akan ada one of the search column. Okay, biasa dekat sini, macam kat sini lah, this what we so called as the search column. Kita akan key in the query, dia akan keluarkan. Okay, so how actually dia keluarkan? Melalui database lah, dia akan proses. Maksudnya, we key in the keyword, okay, dia akan proses through database, dia akan show the result. Okay, so the figure display of user querying business intelligence and the database sending back the appropriate chat that satisfies the user request. Ini sama juga kalau you Google guna Yahoo search. Okay, when you search tu kita panggil query. Okay, and bila you tekan klik saja enter, dia akan proses dekat dalam database and dia akan show the results. Okay, this is what we are actually put under the operation of the database. Okay, so data driven website advantages, okay, we have actually second ada two, okay, development and content management. Okay, so first advantage, okay, of this particular data driven website. Okay, what is data driven website? Website ni dia rely on database. Okay, ada website dia tak perlukan database. Okay, dia just go for what we so called as macam poster je. Tapi itu semua kebanyakannya tak ada lah. Okay, kebanyakannya tak banyak lah. Okay, yang ada sekarang ni most adalah data driven. Maksudnya dia what we so called as feed the data. Okay, so development. You allow the website owner to make changes anytime. You boleh change the content anytime. Okay, all without having to rely on developer or knowing HTML programming. Okay, kalau dulu website kita ada banyak go for this particular programming. Okay, ataupun kita panggil code lah. Okay, or in programming punya term kita panggil source code. Okay, so dekat sini kita kena wait for this particular technical people untuk updatekan. Okay, but nowadays, walaupun you tak ada technical part, tapi you know when to where to update, when to update. Okay, contoh kita guna blog. Blog tu adalah part of lah. Maksudnya kita tak perlu pun nak tahu this kind of HTML code, okay, ataupun all this kind of programming. Okay, kita just update this particular, just log in and update that stories, sort of that. Okay. A well-structured data-driven website enable updating with little or no training. Okay, macam kita sekarang, sometimes tak perlu nak train. Kita boleh self-study ataupun kita boleh tahu sendiri where actually we want to update the content. Okay. And next, content management. A static website require a programmer to make update. Okay. This add unnecessary layer between the business and its web content, which can lead to misunderstanding and slow turnaround for desired changes. Okay, satu dekat sini, a static website. Okay, maksudnya kalau misalnya dia perlukan that particular specialized person, okay, untuk make update. Okay, so kalau misalnya nak jadi lebih dynamic, okay, static ni dia punya opposite adalah dynamic. Maksudnya yang keep on update. Okay, means you yourself can update, okay, the content. In terms of the content management lagi quick lah untuk being updated. Okay, which can lead to misunderstanding kalau kat sini. Kalau misalnya unnecessary layers ni, sometimes kita nak suruh update tapi the person that update tu dia lambat, okay, akan lead to misunderstanding. Okay, apa yang sepatutnya kita nak update, dia update lain pula. Okay, so that's what we don't want. Okay, in term of content management, kita what we so call as have independent to update, okay, the content. Okay, next one, future expandability. Okay, having a data-driven website enable the site to grow faster than would be possible with a static site. Sama je. Maksudnya dekat sini kita boleh expand, okay, in term of the next content, boleh tambahkan content. Okay, so grow faster than would be possible in static site. Changing the layout, contoh macam you boleh ubah sendiri, okay, the layout website, layout you punya blog, okay, and functionality of the site. You nak tambah ada jam ke, ada what we so call as some of the tabs, okay. Okay, so dekat sini you boleh do it yourself, okay, DIY. Okay, easier with a data-driven solution. Minimizing human error, because kita kalau tengok dekat sini, even the most competent programmer charged with the task maintaining many pages will overlook things and make mistake. So dekat sini, bila kita frequent update, okay, kita boleh try to minimize the human error. Sebab kalau tengok dekat sini, okay, some of the programmers dia akan charge, okay, on maintaining the website. Okay, so dekat sini sebab kita tengok lead to bugs and inconsistencies that can be time consuming and expensive to track down and fix. Tapi sekarang ni sebab kita dah ada what we so call as a very user friendly website yang kita boleh update sendiri, we can minimize the human error sebab kita not depend on the external parties, we depend ourselves. We know what actually we want to deliver. Okay, unfortunately, user who come across this bug will become irritated and may leave the site. Okay, so dekat sini dia kata apa, ada banyak. Okay, what is actually bugs dekat website? Okay, bugs kat website ni dia macam what we so call as benda yang tidak sepatutnya diletakkan dalam content of the website. Okay, so this particular thing, sebab kita is the owner of the business, owner of the website, we know what we should not put inside the website. Okay, a well-designed data-driven website will still have error trapping mechanism to ensure that required information is filled out correctly and that content is entered and displayed in its correct format. So dekat sini, even though ada error trapping, okay, you have to ensure, okay, all the required information is filled out correctly. Okay, so this what we have how to minimize the human error under data-driven website. Yang mana this particular website actually rely on you yourself to update, okay, the content. Okay, and next one, cutting production and update cost. Okay, of course dia lebih menjimatkan. Okay, data di website can be updated and published by any competent data entry or administrative person. Okay, because this you rely on yourself. Okay, in addition to being convenient and more affordable, changes update will take a fraction of the time that they would with a static site. Kalau macam static site ni dia memang very lame lah, maksudnya lambat untuk being update. Okay, tapi sekarang ni dah jadi more affordable, okay, more convenient because you are keep on updating the website. Okay, while training a competent programmer can take months or even years, training a data entry person can be done in 30 to 60 minutes. So dekat sini, if you want to train a competent programmer, okay, maybe a bit costly. Okay, tapi sebab website nowadays is very easy to update, so it only take around 30 to 60 minutes only. Okay, and more efficient, okay, in terms of the service, more efficient. Okay, with data dari nature, computer are excellent at keeping volumes of information intact. Maksudnya dekat sini, information yang dapat pun ikut apa yang pengguna perlukan. Okay, with data-driven solution, as the system keep track of the template, so user do not have to. So dekat sini, sistem akan keep track of the templates. Okay, some contoh lah, kalau misalnya untuk online shopping, okay, dia tak akan guna template yang sama for every season. Mungkin musim raya, template dia warna hijau. Okay, untuk what we so call as Chinese New Year, dia dah ubah dah dia punya layout kepada the red one. Okay, so dekat sini, it actually the system itself, okay, dia akan tolong untuk keep track, okay, of the template. Okay, global changes to layout, navigation or site structure will need to be programmed only once in one place, and the site itself will take care of propagating those changes. Okay. Saya tengok ada yang tu. Okay. Data-driven infrastructure will improve the reliability and stability of website while greatly reducing the chance of breaking some part of site when adding new areas. Okay, so dekat sini dia kata apa? Data-driven infrastructure. Okay, maknanya the infra itself. Okay, kemudahan yang ada dekat dalam website tu will improve the reliability and stability of the website. Sebab macam I mention banyak kali. Okay, bila kita boleh buat sendiri, that particular website must be updated, okay, and well maintained, okay, while greatly reducing the chance of breaking some part of the site when adding new areas. Okay, maksudnya kita akan reduce kesilapan lah, okay, dekat dalam that particular website content. Okay, and next one, okay, or last one, okay, kalau kita tengok dekat sini, improve stability. Okay, what is actually improve stability? Okay, any programmer who has to update a website from static template must be very organized to keep track of all the source files. Okay, so dekat sini, kalau kita rely on programmer yang mana that particular template is static, must be very organized to keep track. Dia akan keep track all the source of the files. Okay. If a programmer leave unexpectedly, kita pun tak boleh nak buat because we don't have that particular knowledge. Okay, involve creating existing work if those source file cannot be found. Ini yang selalu programmer akan guna. Kita panggil source file. Okay, plus if there were any changes to the template, the new programmer must be careful to use only the latest version. So dekat sini sebab dia adalah customized. Okay, so better kita guna data driven website. Data driven website ni maknanya template dah memang available dekat the database. Kita sendiri boleh maintain that particular website. Okay, with data driven website there is peace of mind knowing the content is never lost even if your programmer is. Okay, contoh macam nowadays kita punya database sekarang bukan lagi what we so called as being stored secara fizikal. Sekarang ni kita ada teknologi cloud lagi. Okay, cloud is kita panggil database juga lah, type of database. Maksudnya semua sekali kita simpan dekat cloud storage. Okay. Okay, and here integration information among multiple database. Macam mana pula each of these database dia akan intersect ataupun kita panggil integrate. Okay, so integration allows separate system to communicate directly with each other. Okay, bawah integration ni sebab kita ada banyak database. Okay, usually database dia akan focus on certain what we so call as business. Okay, contoh sales system, order entry system, order fulfillment system, billing system. Ini semua adalah yang berkaitan dengan the department one. Okay, so department wise kalau kita tengok dekat sini, okay, dia ada dua jenis. Okay, either that particular integration of database kita guna secara forward integration, okay, ataupun backward integration. Okay, what is forward, what is backward? Okay, so text information entered into a given system and send it automatically to all downstream system process. Kalau kita tengok dekat sini, database sales dengan database order entry, order fulfillment dengan billing ni yang kita gunakan adalah sebagai forward. Okay, apa maksud forward? Bila this particular database okay being used terus kepada customer, itu kita panggil downstream. Okay, maksudnya we actually push the information okay to the customer. Okay, sales akan forward dia punya information kepada order entry system, order entry akan forward kepada fulfillment, okay, and fulfillment akan what we so call as forward okay the information to billing system. Itu kita panggil forward integration. Okay, dekat dengan customer. Kalau backward ni lebih kepada send it automatically to all upstream system and process. Kita yang tarik the info, tarik daripada billing system, billing akan order fulfillment akan tarik daripada billing system, order entry akan tarik daripada order fulfillment, sales akan tarik daripada order entry. So dekat sini ni kita panggil backward integration. We pull the information. Okay, yang this one we push the information. Maksudnya dia dekat dengan customer. Here adalah customer lah. Okay, this one here adalah the user itself. Okay. So one of the biggest benefit of integration is that organization only have to enter information into the system once and automatically send to all other system throughout the organization. And this feature alone create a huge advantages for organization because reduce information redundancies. Kalau kita tengok tadi, dia akan reduce the redundancy because you only have to key in once. Okay, so next customer yang what we so call as kalau ada next transaction, the name of the customer, semua particulars you tak perlu nak key in lagi. Okay, without integration, any organization would have to enter information into every single system. Macam inilah, takkanlah from the customer, the same customer billing system pun key in the name, ni pun key in the name, ni pun key in the name and so on. Okay, biasanya kalau you tengok dekat hospital, okay, hospital bila you register, walaupun you pergi dekat mana-mana department dekat hospital tu, you pergi dekat contoh ward ke, ataupun you masuk ward ke, ataupun you pergi dekat the doctor's clinic, okay, sebab you dah register Okay, dia hanya try to pull you punya what we so called as info je from the system. Okay, tak perlulah you pergi kejap pergi klinik, kejap you masuk ward, you kena register lagi name. Kejap you jumpa doktor, kena register name, no. Okay, because they only pull your particulars from the system. Okay, for example, customer information would have to be manually entered into the marketing sale ordering. Ni yang tadi I mention. Kalau tak, you have manually. Okay, setiap database ni you have to key in the particulars. Okay, tapi sebab this particular integrated, dia tak perlu nak key in multiple ataupun redundant. Okay, integration offer many advantages, but the most part, the automated flow information among separate system is the biggest benefit. Maksudnya dekat sini you boleh access, okay, towards all the system, okay, secara auto. Okay, so kalau tengok dekat sini, building a central repository, okay, what we have here under this part of repository. Okay, bila repository, dia akan simpan all this particular database dalam satu information system. Kita panggil customer information system. Yang mana this particular customer information system ada dalam satu database. Okay, interlink. Okay, the above figure display example of customer information integrated using this method. Okay, kalau macam tadi, hanya sales saja yang boleh pull from the order entry. Order entry boleh from fulfillment billing. Okay, so that one is yang forward dengan what we so called as backward tadi. Okay, by parties. Okay, by department. Tapi dekat sini semua being stored under one database ataupun kita panggil repository. Okay, repository which actually you accumulate all the database into one big database. Okay, so user can create, read, update and delete the main customer repository and subsequently send to all other database. Okay, bila you update dekat sini, semua being updated. Okay, contohlah macam nama, alamat you. Okay, alamat rumah you, kalau ubah dekat sini, automatic dia akan ubah dekat semua sekali. Okay, from all the database. Okay, so this method does not follow the business process when building the integration. Sebab apa? Business critical integrity constantly still need to build to ensure information only ever entered into customer repository, otherwise information will become out of sync. Okay, what mean sync ni? Sync ni maksudnya semua adalah selari, okay, consistent the information. Okay, so sebab tu dekat sini dia perlu ensure the information only ever entered into customer repository. Okay, kalau kita hanya update dekat sales system, contoh daripada segi perubahan alamat customer, okay, semua dekat sini still tak update. Tapi kalau kita update dekat sini, okay, automatic semua database ni akan update. Okay, that is the difference between yang if you rely on department database dengan this particular integrated database. Okay, so dia akan sync semua sekali dengan the other database. Okay, 7B kita akan go for the next class. Okay, any question? Okay, any question?